My name is Meredith Feldt, and I will be presenting Outside Where, a survey of climates and built environments in studies of HCI outdoors. My co-authors are Michael Jones and Natalie Andrus, who will assist in the presentation. We are at Brigham Young University in Provo, Utah. HCI outdoors consists of humans and computers interacting in the outdoor. This is any human, any computer, and any sort of interaction in an outdoor setting. So this is significant because where the study takes place matters, because indoors, we typically have climate control, easy access to power and network connectivity, whereas outdoors, we have no climate control and probably not much of a built infrastructure. So outdoors, there's going to be a lot more variation due to weather and the built environment. And this field of HCI outdoors is emerging as a topic. This kind of shows how the different outdoor scenarios can impact the human-computer interaction. For example, if you're receiving a call in the first scenario, you can probably, or if you're dialing a call, you can probably easily take the phone out of your pocket, dial the phone number. Maybe it's a little sunny, so it's difficult to see what you're dialing. But then you can probably place the call will go through, and you can hear the person on the other end easily, and they might be able to hear you easily. Whereas in the second scenario, if you're trying to make a call, you might have to dig through your coat to get your phone. And then once you get your phone to dial the phone number, you might have to take off your gloves. There might be snow getting on your phone that you have to brush off to be able to see what you're doing. And then if the call will even go through, it might be difficult being able to hear the person on the other end. So because this is important, we asked the question, where have HCI outdoors studies taken place? What was the climate there? What was the built environment? We did a survey of literature to find out. In 2021, Lynch et al. Published a paper, How Weird is CHI? Weird stands for Western, Educated, Industrialized, Rich, and Democratic. Their survey found that the majority of participants in CHI studies came from weird countries. So this study focused on the location in the sense of where participants came from. We focus on location as well, but where the location of the study itself was. There was also a series of workshops involving HCI outdoors, and all of them focused on outdoors, and place was central to all of them, whether in nature, on the mountains, or in trails. So this inspired us to also look at location in the context of our study.
I will be going over the search strategy, screening and inclusion criteria, and classification schemes. To get the papers that we're going to look at, we asked participants at the 2018 workshop on HCI outdoors for recommended papers. From that, we looked at citations, and to get, we didn't have enough from that second search, so we looked at the computer-human interaction papers from 2016 to 2021 that contained the words outdoor and outdoors. From this, we ended up with 699 papers. So we took that 699 papers through our screening criteria, and we asked the questions, is the study in English? And is the study published at a venue sponsored by ACM SIGCHI? This only eliminated a few papers, and we went down to 657. Going through our inclusion criteria boiled it down to 93 papers, because we asked the questions, does the study contain a person and a computer interacting in the outdoors? And if it does, can we determine the location of the study from the paper or by contacting the authors? We classified the built environment of the study locations using the Recreation Opportunity Spectrum, or ROS. The ROS was developed by the United States Forest Service for land management in the Western United States. The ROS classifies land based on 4 factors at a given location. These factors are biological, physical, social, and managerial. We used the physical, social, and managerial. Details on each can be found in the paper. The ROS has 6 levels, ranging from primitive to urban. In a primitive environment, we would expect to see that nature would dominate, and there would be little to no evidence of the built environment. On the flip side, in an urban environment, we would expect to see that human-built environments would dominate and there'd be little to no evidence of the natural world. We use this decision tree to classify the locations of included studies. We recommend that researchers use this decision tree when classifying locations of their own studies. The questions in this decision tree can be answered by looking at the satellite view of the location in an online mapping service such as Google Maps. To classify the climate, we use the Koppen-Geiger climate classification scheme. This looks at factors like rainfall, temperature, and seasonal variation. And you can see here that it breaks the Earth into different groups and subgroups. So we have 5 top-level climates and 26 subclimates. You can see here that 5 top-level climates are tropical, dry, temperate, continental, and polar. Some examples on the right, you can see that Miami would be considered a tropical climate. Phoenix, Arizona would fall under the dry climate.
The results of our study are displayed in this map. Each marker represents a location where a study took place. The shape of the marker represents the built environment, whether it was urban or rural, etc. And the color of the marker represents the climate classification. As you can see, most of the studies took place in Western and Northern Europe, where the climate was mostly temperate and continental. This shows another part of the world where a few studies took place in tropical climates. And this shows the United States and Canada, where most of the studies were done in urban locations across a couple of different climate zones. These results are also displayed in this table. As you can see, 82 out of the 102 studies took place in an urban built environment. And only 7 of the studies took place in a tropical climate.
One explanation for these results is that authors tend to conduct studies at locations that are near their home institution. This map shows a circle at the home institution of the first author of each paper that contains a study included in our survey. If we overlay a map of study locations on top of the map of institution locations, we can see that the correlation is very tight. We make several recommendations based on this survey. 2 are included here, others can be found in the paper. The first is to situate more studies in locations that are primitive or semi-primitive, where natural processes dominate. The second is to situate studies of HCI in the outdoors in a wider variety of climate and weather conditions. Thank you for attending our presentation, and we look forward to questions.